Yeah, we're on. Okay, for the
All
open
right, so
session of the team meeting.
So let's just go over the open item agenda. Let's start with our faculty numbers. Dan, Kirk, you want to take that?
One sec. Let me pull them up. So, since the article, or since, sorry, approval, we've had 71 applications, which has turned into at least 55 new faculty. We have 81 total courses, which includes the faculty orientation, which means we have 80 faculty-created courses, and I also have 2 that I just received in my inbox. So I'll have to look at those. So yeah, faculty turnover, from application to signature and jumping into the getting an account and getting on Canvas is staying strong. I don't know what I have not done a ratio of that turnover, but I'm not worried about it. As I look through the names of the applications, I recognize most of them as now faculty members. So that's good. And yeah, as far as courses go, right, we have 80 courses in some stage of development. I would hope that it being the the summer semester in the States, as most of these people are located in the U.S., we will get a lot of production from them, and we're also hitting more disciplines and more genres of academia. People are bleeding the line a little bit, which is cool, but everything from 3D programming to history of comic books. We have one class that'll be taught using Google Glass, which is pretty rad.
Oh, that's I think that's the girl that I chatted to her on Facebook, on Twitter. I think she was really excited about her Google Glass, and she wanted to introduce it in a class somehow. Yeah, no, that was really cool. Though.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether the Google Glass or devices like it can really kind of bridge the gap in terms of some of the hard sciences, in terms of going to a lab and showing the work and recording what you're doing. So yeah, that's a bit of technology that's going to, it has a lot of different applications. It's probably going to take off, especially in lab sciences.
She's going to wear the glass to various art studios and museums and stuff, and take the student experience with her through the Google Glass thing.
Wow. Yeah, I could see it being used a lot in the environmental sciences and the field trip piece. Yeah, genius. What about Dan? Have you gotten any more sense of people who are starting to coalesce around creating programs or certificates? Any sense of that?
Yeah, we definitely have at least 5. Some are, again, people have ideas, and then some people will actually propose them. One of which recently, yeah, I mean, we have a handful. They're not much more developed than being individual course proposals, and then kind of being lumped together in a string of classes that would perhaps make up a certificate. But yeah, I'll have to do that. put those all together too.
Yeah, I think I'm going to wait just a little bit before getting more guidance about becoming a degree granting program, but I definitely want to push that. The sooner we get those 5 to 10 program proposals, then the sooner we can go in front of the state again and some other agencies. Anything else with so it's a good distribution of the course of disciplines, and it's a good distribution of the numbers.
Yeah. It's not been a problem. Some folks are concerned. We did have some concerns about redundancies. If some folks are offering pretty similar courses to each other and what the competition would be like. I'm not at this stage. I think between offering them at staggered start dates from different people with different teaching styles and different content, no course is really ever going to be exactly the same, nor will they ever all start at the same time. And if it's a broad spectrum class like Intro to Writing, I know many universities have 20 sections anyway to meet the demand of people who need an intro level writing course or something similar, poli-sci or something like that. So yeah, not worried at this point until that might become a problem, but it also may never become a problem.
Yeah, I got a phone call when I was in Chicago from a professor, and I went through her concerns with that. Since the class size is capped at 25, and there's a lot more data that students are going to be having access to, then I think that issue just drops away. I don't think we're going to have to deal with it. It's also kind of not, I can see it being a problem with the intro courses, but I really don't see it being a problem with the specialized ones. And again, that class size, lowering the class size keeps that issue from getting at. I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
And we're definitely not signing any exclusive agreements to have people offer classes in X discipline. We're not going to do that.
Right.
Okay. So why don't we just jump the agenda and talk about the issue of the instructor analytics, since we're talking about faculty.
Yeah.
Daniel, why don't you go ahead?
Well, after last week, we had a discussion about whether we'd actually be able to see what faculty is doing, what they're busy with, how they're to see if there's any points that we can help them with, and to see if there's anything that we could actually change for them or discuss with Canvas. So I sent an email to Canvas and asked them if it was possible to get more analytics on what our faculty is doing, and so we can help them. And currently they only have a limited amount of analytics, which is very focused on what students are doing, and so far less on what faculty is doing. So they're basically working for large organizations whereby they're not so interested in what the faculty is doing and far more interested in what the students are doing. They don't really have a call for that. And we're interested in what everybody's doing, of course. We'd like to be able to help everybody within that section. So
I'll be honest, that's bizarre. I think that's just absolutely bizarre. Not that the fact that they don't get a call for that, because if I'm a course content developer, if I'm head of a unit at a university, I definitely want data on who's engaged and who isn't. But okay, and down to the individual level. So
yeah, well, I recently discussed with a guy I met at the Next Web conference who's doing a course on Canvas for a different university who I'm not going to mention. And he said that very much the different styles that they have on there is some people are fully using all the facilities that Canvas has, and some people are using only maybe 2% of the facilities that Canvas has. So they're not using external videos. They're not using any much more than having a couple of videos up. and giving a couple of documentation or some documentation links. They weren't doing much more than that. And I think because we really we're focused on the experience as being the full rounded course experience, as close to what you would get in a classroom and better. And I don't think that a lot of other institutes really are actually focusing that hard on making the experience better than what you get in a classroom. And I think that's one of the other advantages that we might have. But it does mean that we don't have the features that we need. So my suggestion was to, would we be able to have add the features ourselves, because it's an open source project, and I think that we could, although I don't know how quickly those features that we add will be picked up, of course, and put into the main line.
The one thing though is that tool that would be developed, whether we develop it and we put it on open source. I mean, we're going to have a conversation, because that's really like a secret sauce. That's really going to be a competitive advantage, potentially. And we got to figure out, we have to have that conversation of whether that's a thing we all share, or whether that's a thing that we want to keep in terms of, be a little bit more proprietary about it.
Yeah. Well, it's also I see it in two ways. One way is that we can help us. We could actually add it to Canvas itself, and then it would become completely open source, and everybody would be able to use it. Or we could add it as because we can dynamically update the JavaScript in Canvas, so we can add other features inside there, so that we can update it and collect all the analytics ourselves, and then we can keep the data ourselves, and then we could, of course, give it to our partners, universities who partner with us and who use the Canvas. We can give it to those as part of our partnership with whoever they are.
Oh,
so depending on what it is.
Yeah, that's a great idea. But right now, we definitely don't have the capacity to do that.
No,
okay.
No.
Let's put that. Maybe we put that. Is that in Skunkworks?
I think Dan put it in Skunkworks, but I'll check.
Okay. All right. Let's go to last week's results. I think I shared a bunch of mine in closed session in terms of branching out, in terms of engaging other networks. And I showed you guys that in kind of the, what was it called again? In projects under alliances and outreach. And now, anything you guys want to share in terms of, in open session about that?
Say again?
Anything you guys want to share in terms of, let's, what was sort of successful in terms of sort of the outreach and agenda items? Last week's results, it's under open session.
I have some things I've really found that this week we've really got we've been getting a lot of good interaction from external sources as well. So, for example, the head of online for CUNY, for the City University of New York, wrote an interesting piece about us.
That's right. Yep.
So I thought that was quite cool. Especially since I know City University of New York because I see that their people are constantly doing stuff in social media and are very busy. So very cool that they spent some time on us. And there's been a number of interesting discussions that we've had online. I think my idea is that our community building exercise is going extremely well. We have some places that we can improve, that we need to improve. That's we've been at it for a little bit of time on the faculty side, and we've only recently started on the student side. So I think that the way we're going at the moment is quite good. I hope we were so more successful, but time will tell, of course.
Yeah, it is interesting that external networks that are trying to now contact us, and the different people that are contacting us and creating, different kinds of engagement. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Again, hard to know less than a month into this where the stickiness is and where to target. So we're kind of like, spamming everything. Not spamming, but spraying, press releases, etc. everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Dan, you want to add anything?
No, other than finding the lead on the using kind of I wouldn't call it outsourcing, but better tools for spreading the word, and like the newswire item, to get into more traditional media that we may not have been targeting or able to target or thinking about without the use of people who are much more adept to that kind of exposure. Yeah.
Now, the next item is the marketing blog items. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
I don't know if you noticed that I added that in there. This weekend I was enthusiastic and inspired by our courses, and I thought, what can we do? Because we have a little bit of age problem with us. That's what we don't. We're all over the age of 30, which means that and there are a lot of people that we're focusing on who are maybe millennials or sub 30 for one segment of our market. So I was thinking, how can we reach those? So I decided to give myself a session of BuzzFeed article creating, and I created a number of interesting blog items, meant partly to be funny and partly to inspire people to actually follow some of our courses. So I posted a number of those online for approval, but it's together with other things that we want to be able to do or other news that we want to reach out with within our blog items or within our blog.
Those are a good idea.
and this is the transparency is easy Evernote piece.
No.
No. This live this live event. The transparency is easy Evernote event or Evernote. No, I posted them. They're Google Docs. I posted them on Podio in the main list.
And since I was in Chicago, I am not. Since I was in Chicago this weekend, I am not up to speed on all that. So I'll check that piece. I'll check all of that out.
Yeah. Dan sent me the proposals because, of course, my knowledge of the specifics of the course is not excellent. I went based on open source information and their syllabi and put something together based on that. So he sent them off to the instructors to be checked, and so that if I made any glaring mistakes in their subject field, that it would be corrected, and we wouldn't look like idiots.
Yeah.
Right. Is there to kind of follow up on that, on that marketing blog items? Is the wiki, the Oplerno wiki, getting any kind of play?
I'm going
to wiki status. I mean, I can look at it right now.
Let's see.
Actually, I got it, Chief.
Yeah. You're going to be depressed, I think.
Oh, I won't be depressed. This is a radical. This is a bit of a radical move.
Okay, but then yeah. But we didn't get any people who even visited the site, so which surprises me, because I thought at least you would have visited the site.
Yeah, at least I'd be upping our click content. Yeah, well, I guess it's going to take a little while. It's certainly a different idea to have our contracts and give have our contracts and everything available to be edited. But yeah, well, it's just going to take some time.
Yeah, it could be that maybe when in our last a monthly update there were also just so many things in there that it came to the bottom of the list. So maybe nobody for at least the people who read the email, they didn't notice it. It's one of the reasons that I posted everywhere on Facebook and on Twitter as well. But that hasn't resulted in anything either. But so I'll post them again, and then maybe we should write something around that as well for information purposes.
Okay. I think let's hold off on the, unless you wanted to make a presentation, Daniel. Let's hold off on the generic analytics, that piece. And I think because we're getting sort of up against the time, why don't we just sort of, we'll close this out, and I'll see you guys online in Padillo, and away we go. Hey, thanks for meeting.
Okay.
And
well, thank you very much.
I think a little bit later on this week, and we can talk about this in closed session. We've got let's create a time when we go over the user experience.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'm going to send off the. I still have a guy from Sanoma who said he was going to have a look at it. The user experience guy for when I did in exchange for the presentation that I gave them.
Okay.
And so I'm going to send the stuff off to him as well, and so I can get an expert eye on that as well.
Okay. And I will see. I guess at the end of the month at Karma Birdhouse, I'm making a presentation, and I'm going to see whether I can get them to record it, and then we can post that up online.
Cool.
Too. Okay. All right.
Nice.
So let's just click off the live, and